Welcome to another episode of the Ballinesian podcast here on wherever you're listening or watching this. Sponsored as always by www.livasaislandapparel.com. Definitely check them out, Brother Uri, and what they have going on as far as the latest in brand logo. We got some new logos going up. Check them out on Instagram at le_vasa. You can vote on some of the new stuff that's coming through. We're here talking about the latest in NFL training camps, definitely as far as the Chargers and Raiders go. Tua Tagovailoa getting paid, as well as Jordan Love getting a new contract. Dak Prescott still waiting. And then some Olympic catch-up also here this episode. I'm Lance Falatongo. Coach Forrest, how you doing this week?
Good, man. Good. I got the last 2 days off from work, which is much needed.
Yeah.
Work's cool, but it's work.
Some
If
time
there was
off to
any way,
yourself?
oh man, if there was any way I could, never mind. Because I just have to do this. Anyway, work was good this week, and I got my 2 days off, so relaxed. I get to do this before I go back to work tomorrow, so everything's good.
Yeah, I'm also going back to work tomorrow. It's been my weekend. It's been pretty chill. Very relaxing, and watching the sports that's happening, Olympics,
Oh yeah, man.
watching the latest in the news. Went golfing. Shout out to brother Noah. And yeah, just ready for another week of work. But sports, what's going on recently? Our boy, our cousin, our family, Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa got a contract extension. Was it 4 years, $212 million,
Yep.
167 million guaranteed. Coming in at like $53 million a year over the rest of his contract. To play QB for Mike McDaniels. They got Tyreek. Yeah, Jalen Waddle's going to be there for a while. Devon Achane. So a really good situation and kind of pays off all their hard work. His total career earnings to this point was about $51 million. So now he's going to get paid that every single year. So congratulations to him for securing the bag. That big, second contract after your rookie contract is
Yeah.
the one that is really kind of like wealth changing. That's the one where
For sure.
$167 million guaranteed over the next 3-4 years.
Even if you didn't do enough to garner that much money in your contract, if they're gonna give it to you.
I think that's what's gonna be, because we were thinking that even before, right? It's like
Yeah.
you could understand if they didn't give him $50 million a year, because that is what Patrick Mahomes is making. That
Right.
is what
Right.
some of the guys that have higher
Not
statistics over their
right.
first 4 or 5
Not to
years.
say he's not a top tier quarterback. It's just his numbers haven't really shown it. And again, like I'm all for it, man. Enjoy your contract, enjoy your time, but this he wants to sign that contract, and then his first thing he does when he comes out of training camp is goes to hype up the crowd, grabs some mic, he show me the money, bro. If I was in the stands and I was a Dolphins fan, I'd have been like, "Hey, show me some wins
show
too, bro."
show me them. Oh,
Right?
okay. Yeah. That's a good point, because he says, he told reporters after that, he was like, I'm the highest paid employee in the office now. And I get that. I got to get, my stuff together. I got to get that right and get our guys moving in the right direction that we need to go to be able to do things. So he definitely is saying what you're supposed to say when you're the number one
Right.
guy and you're the QB, right? You're the natural leader of the offense of the team. And I know there were injury concerns. There was that season where he missed so many games because of back-to-back concussions.
Right.
And then he's not making enough stats, quote unquote, to have earned that money. I mean, this is going to end up going down as a deal I mean, the Dolphins not exactly like quarterback rich, right? He's only the second Dolphin quarterback to sign a second contract since Dan Marino retired. So he's like the
Yeah.
best Dolphins quarterback since Marino the last 25 years.
And you know what?
He's he's
That's not
earned it.
even a lie. Yeah, that's not a lie either, because he really is the second best quarterback since Dan Marino. If you go
Yeah.
through the quarterbacks that have played there,
Yeah, so
uh,
he's earned
yeah,
it. Like he's got that. And
totally, totally.
this last year didn't miss any games. Right, he played all the games. He led the league in passing yards. He had a career high in passing touchdowns, and I think that's just because he's. I mean, he took those jujitsu classes, right, and
Mm-hmm.
then learned how to
Mm-hmm.
fall and that kind of helped him kind of avoid some of those head injuries you could say, but it's just being familiar in Mike McDaniel's offense. This is going to be his third, fourth years coming up where he can have the same offense, know what to expect, know how to build on last season, right? Because his first 2 years, he had a bunch of different coordinators. There was like some uncertainty for the Dolphins, right? And
For
now,
sure.
what was it? Brian Flores
Yeah, Flores,
for
and then he had the whole uh lawsuit that he filed against him for
yeah.
not being named the head coach. So that soured some people there, some relationships he had. So
It's
must have been tough.
been a weird time for the Dolphins, but
Yeah,
Tua can be that stability. And as soon as Dak gets 65 million or whatever it's going to be, either from the Dolphins or next season from somebody as a free agent, the rest of the quarterback re-signings are just going to go higher and higher and higher. And $53 million a year for a starting quarterback that can put up good stats and a good offense, it's going to look like a bargain. Like
right.
they're good to get this deal done now, I think.
I know. And if the owners are working towards trying to cap the quarterbacks at least, uh, with numbers and things like that, just because I mean, pretty soon backups are going to be making, $80 million a year, and you're just going to have some dude sitting on the bench making $80 million a year because
Mm,
starters are going to be making the ridiculous amounts of money. So I know
that's a big number.
there's been talks amongst the owners about trying to figure out a way to, I don't know, really cap it, but try to ease the the pain of teams trying to pay a quarterback every year. When the salary cap goes up or something new is done. So yeah, we'll see how that works, because you're basically telling the guys who are coming from behind, nah, you guys can't get those contracts.
They're telling him you can't reset the market. You're just there's going to be a flat max
Right?
contract or something
Yeah,
so that the people aren't spending 50, 60, 70% of their entire team
yeah,
salary cap on one
exactly.
player that could, you know,
May or may not
get
impact the rest of your franchise.
yeah, for a long time. I think Mahomes is getting so like he signed a 10-year, $500 million contract a while ago, and everyone was like, "Yo, $500 million, $50 million, or
Right.
$45 million a year, something like that, to play quarterback." That's so much. I mean, and now you see the number keeps going up, and now clearly the winningest quarterback in the recent class, Patrick Mahomes, is now like the 10th highest paid quarterback or something like that.
Yeah,
That's going to get reset. I mean, they're going to figure out something,
for sure.
to get
That's
him
and
paid, but
that's the number
it's
one
weird.
quarterback in the league. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, if you look around, guys, it look, and if you're like just an avid fan, like, what I mean, not really into football, but you do pay attention. If you see numbers like that, you're probably thinking to yourself, like, that's ridiculous that some of these dudes who just don't really match up to Mahomes making that much more than Mahomes. That's the market, you know?
Yes, that's the market. And the market,
Yeah,
the total salary cap is projected to go up. Like the amount of money you can spend total
right.
on your team. So people
Yeah,
are going to use some of that money to like try to attract what they think is, the best player to the most important position in football. Uh Quarterback. I mean, excuse me. So yeah, quarterbacks are always going to get paid. What do you think is like the comparison in other sports? Like, do pitchers get paid a lot? Do
Pitchers do. Pitchers get
scorers in
paid a lot.
basketball?
Uh, I think your wing player now, I think, is making a lot of money because they do a lot of the scoring. Used to be your point guard or your post player, but I think somebody made a comparison to post players as running backs in the NFL. So they made that comparison.
Oh,
They're needed,
dying breed.
but yeah, exactly. An actual post player because they have positionless basketball now, so not every team's gonna have some big just sit in the post. But I mean, we see it still works. Although Jokic does have perimeter skills, he's still probably the most phenomenal post player you've seen in such a long time.
This is
He's
like
got
a
post moves down
unicorn
there. That's yeah, exactly.
because he could do non-post player stuff. The
Right,
passing is
right.
like,
Embiid's the same. Embiid can do the same. So those are two
oh,
bigs that you look at and you think about. They really do have perimeter skills, but they're still most effective in the post. They do a lot of their damage from inside the post, passing and not just scoring.
mm,
I'm talking about passing, screening, all those things. They're really good at it. So, but yeah, a quarterback. Um, like if we're talking just the market wise for NBA would be your wing, of course, because all those they do all the flashy stuff. They do the scoring, the slashing. They're the ones that run up and down the court. And then in baseball, the pitcher, uh,
just the big
unless
money.
you're Otani and you do everything.
Yeah,
This year he's not though. This year
right.
he's taking a break from pitching and he's being a
Recovery,
DH. Yeah, he don't
and
even
it's
play the game.
going well.
He's rested. He only have to come up to bat. He don't even have to play out in the field.
Yeah, he doesn't even
You
have to
know
play field or anything. He's just
exactly. He just
DHing.
your time to bat.
He's
So
like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Puts down his DraftKings app. Goes
right.
up. No, just kidding.
I always thought that was the weirdest thing to me ever. When I grew up playing baseball, was that the National League had like I was like, that's crazy that the National League is able to have someone come and hit for their pitcher
well, the
while in the
National League,
American
they
League.
made the pitchers freaking
Yeah,
bat,
they
and the
they they
American
they
League
they
had the
bat.
DH.
Yeah, and like it was funny because I was a Braves fan, so like I'd always be like, there's no way that what I mean. Uh, like Tom Glavine comes to bat. They were pretty decent batters though. Tom Glavine was a decent batter. John Smoltz was a decent batter.
Learn how to bunt
Uh,
or something.
yeah, something. And then you watch an American League game, and you're like, wait a minute, wait a minute, what is this
There's so
bullshit?
many batters.
What is going on here? You telling me that their pitcher isn't a liability because he doesn't have to bat?
But then American League teams would play interleague ball, end up going to a National League stadium, and then their
Right,
American League pitchers would have to hit
have
and
to
be
hit, and then
so fucking.
they were because they probably used to be good batters in like high school or college because you have to play all around. But by the time they got to major league, and if you don't like batting is like anything else, a skill in sports. You have to practice at it. You know, you have to get your swings in.
What are the
So that's
5 tools for baseball?
I know the first one is make sure that you have a really good interpreter. Uh,
Batting,
uh,
fielding,
batting,
throwing,
fielding, throwing.
running, base
Uh,
running,
yeah, I mean
and
it's
defense or
not the
something.
same as before. Like I know everybody from the Bay. Everybody from the Bay still remembers Ricky Henderson. Like he became a star. Of course, he had to get on base so he could battle. He could field, but everybody knew Ricky Henderson for stealing bases.
Yeah.
Like they followed him along.
He has
Like
the record, right?
that's what you waited for. Yeah, that's what you waited for. Like you watch an A's game and you're like, oh shit, Ricky's on base. Wonder if he's gonna steal a base.
More likely
I
than
don't know.
not.
Yeah, I've never like recently in the past 10 years, probably even more. I don't think I've ever seen anybody with that type of hype around base running. You know what I mean?
I can't think
Game totally has
of
changed.
a steals leader. So
Yeah,
yeah, like knowing someone is that guy and
right,
he gets
right.
on first, yeah, the
Yeah,
energy's got to be like, oh, is he gonna grab another one? All right. Yeah, quarterbacks. Another quarterback that got paid, Packers quarterback Jordan Love got a 4-year, $220 million extension. I think he's the highest paid quarterback, or he's like ties at $55 million a
at
year.
55 a year. I mean,
Uh,
he did a phenomenal job last year. He broke out like everybody expected him to.
mm,
A little late probably, but he was doing wonderful things for the Packers. Like you actually Aaron Rodgers, he left, and so you're like, well, I mean, we can go watch the Packers game. Turn to the Packers game. Let's go see some running. Uh, that Aaron Jones there. So now they have a quarterback that if you're not a Packers fan, you can sit with a Packers game or turn to a Packers game and be excited about watching it because he really did it without like an actual number one receiver, like by NFL
right.
standards. Like he had guys on there, but like he was really using all his receivers out there. He was getting people. If I was his receivers, I'd be thanking him because he was getting the ball to a bunch of people. So
They got
uh,
Christian Watson from the Chiefs, but he didn't even play
yeah,
that much. He ended up using
no,
Jaden Reed mostly, who's like I want to say the most hyped of the unknown wide
uh,
receivers.
and Dobbs, he was pretty
Oh,
good for
Romeo
them.
Dobbs, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he was pretty good
Um,
for them.
I think he turned his tight end into somebody. But yeah, that might just
Yeah,
be
for a little bit.
because
Yep.
Jordan Love has the skills to like. Do you think that's because Jordan Love has always? Where did Jordan Love go to college?
Utah State.
Utah State. Okay, so
Yep.
do you think he's always kind of had the timing and stuff, or do you think sitting those 3 years behind Aaron Rodgers actually did some good? Because a lot of people say he should have just they could have cut Aaron Rodgers earlier, save the money, and just make him play and get that experience on the field. Or do you
I
think
don't think
holding
it's
the clipboard is better?
so. Before we get to that, that's a lot of people who talk shit. Because if they would have thrown him in and he did shit, everyone, even the people who were saying it, they would have been, oh, he's a bust, trade him. You know what I mean? Like that's human nature. People talk shit after when what they thought wasn't going to happen happened. But no, I think it was a combination of both. Probably not just him sitting behind Aaron Rodgers. I think him just sitting and learning. I think, of course, that's a plus to have Aaron Rodgers be the guy that you're learning from, definitely. But I think him sitting is what really helped him a lot. That there was no pressure for him to come in and be great right away or save the team from be their savior. Uh, he didn't have to like go through a battle with Aaron Rodgers. Like it was Aaron Rodgers' team, so he didn't have to worry about like. I'm pretty sure we all heard the stories of Aaron Rodgers not really wanting to fuck with him. Them drafting quarterback was, but of course that's all ego. But I'm sure Aaron Rodgers still, took to him and taught him things. So he didn't have that pressure, having to fight for the job. And then yeah, just getting to know those guys on the field and honing your skills. Taking your time, being able to actually go through all your practices and being able to sit down and learn the playbook. He didn't. He was able to take his time and learn all these things. So, and then him just having it, I think it's always been what he's had. He's again just had time to really hone those skills. So when the time was his, he was able to come in and not really miss a beat. I mean, you saw flashes early when he started. They weren't enough. Like he just waited, and then this year it looked like he put everything together, and we got this Jordan Love. So
The last half of the season, he really turned it on. 18
he did.
touchdowns and
Yep.
only one interception, and the Packers ended up in the playoffs. All right,
Yep.
so there is already some success built in, and some people might see this as like, oh, he only had 10 good games after a rough start in his first year as a starter, but
That's
it's
a lot
worth
of
it.
good games to have. What I mean? 10 good games.
True, true,
That's
true, true.
right. No, I'm not. Yeah, like I don't know. And again, his team wasn't great, and the receivers he had on the team were
Mhm.
guys that he was just learning with as well. Because a lot of them are young, so they're all still trying to learn each other, feel each other out. So he had some for him to go. 18-1 in touchdowns to interceptions, and then have that 10 game just a 10 game
Tear.
run of good games. You know what I mean? That's impressive. Also, this season he's got help now. Defense probably gonna be healthy. They're picking some guys on defense, but I think the main help he's gonna get, which I feel is almost like Aaron Jones was still a really good running back at the time,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But they got new help in the way of Josh Jacobs. I think they drafted another receiver this year, so I mean the money's worth it. You know, he gave you what you guys wanted. Got the 10 wins. Uh, got the team to the playoffs, showing real good promise. So, I mean,
Yeah, that doing good through that adversity and having, like you said, only a few guys was tough. And that's something that the Packers general manager, Brian Gutekunst, said. Seeing how he handled this past year, becoming the guy, handling that pressure, coming out the other side of it, just gave us a lot of confidence that this is the guy that's going to lead us into the future. I'm really excited about that. I mean, obviously, you're giving money to somebody, this much money to a quarterback, you got to be really excited. But that's, I mean, strong words from their general manager. We'll see.
right.
But again, like, once the market goes up, having just a solid quarterback for $50 million a year is going to be a bargain. It's going to be like the standard
Definitely.
price. Your journeymen are going to start making like $30 million a year
That's so crazy.
for 1 or 2 years, but it's all about the percentage of the salary cap. Like, how
Yep.
can you build a team around
What the salary cap is
a rich quarterback or a quarterback
Yeah.
that's getting paid hell, because you don't, you got to be able to balance that. That's like the numbers side of it. Finally, talking about quarterbacks getting paid, Dak Prescott still waiting for a contract extension, and probably not going to happen in season. So what do they got? Like another month or two before Dak Prescott plays this year out and just becomes a free agent.
Yeah.
What do you think the Cowboys are doing here? Do you think they're ready to let Dak walk? Do you think they're trying to get a cheaper price on Dak?
I think that's a combination of both. Of course, I think if they were able to get Dak on a more team-friendly contract, bring him back on that, I think they definitely would bring him back on a more team-friendly contract. At the same time, I know they're not willing to pay Dak that money that these two quarterbacks are making now. The two quarterbacks have just signed new contracts.
It's going to have to be so much. It's going to have to be 60.
Exactly. Because
60 million a year.
If these two are making like $50-$55 million a year, Dak, who has a little bit more experience, the numbers are probably a little better all around. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, I can't remember him winning the playoff game yet. Playoffs, but
have they won a playoff game?
I have no idea.
I think one. I don't know.
Maybe one. But yeah, I think, like you said, Lance, I think it will be a combination of both. I don't think if they're willing to bring him back, it's going to have to be on a team-friendly contract. But also, I think they're pretty willing to let him walk after the season, and then
Trey Lance.
That, oh man, that's crazy. Because they're like
Connor Rush.
I think skill set, those two might be almost the same quarterback. Now Trey Lance, of course, is a lot faster, a lot more athletic, but
younger.
I think, yeah,
a little bit more hair.
Strengths, a lot more hair.
He's balding.
Is he? I don't know. I thought he still had like the little mushroom cut bro thing going.
Yeah, no, he does.
Yeah, but yeah, I think the Cowboys. I think they're ready. They're having problems with CD Lamb's contract. You know what I mean?
Michael Parsons' contract coming up.
That contract is coming up. So I mean, now would be a good time as any to start rebuilding in certain areas of the team. And offseason coming, there was already talks about, like, Raiders have been part of the talks that people have been trying to put out there about them potentially trading for Dak in season or like right before the season, but nothing.
And then paying him a big contract.
Right, getting a big contract. And there's other teams like Minnesota, where he might have fit in, the Giants as well. who still have Daniel Jones in the contract there.
Damn,
I mean,
interdivision
right.
switch. That'd be crazy.
That'd be crazy. But yeah, I mean, he's got options if he does walk. But I think the Cowboys are ready to kind of just,
And with
you're good, Dak.
quarterback being a big chunk contract, like we've been talking about, it's the fastest way to save money. They're paying
Amen.
Dak 40 something million, right, on his old
Yeah,
contract that he signed it in 2018 or something, or nah, 2020.
2020.
But like if they cut Dak, then it's like a lot easier to see them re-signing Michael Parsons, re-signing CeeDee Lamb without an issue, figuring it out. Like, what are we going to do at quarterback? Just like, after they uh, re-signed the young guys. And then they're just like, we can find anybody to throw slants to CeeDee Lamb, right? And
Right.
just save money that way. But I mean, I think Micah Parsons is. Do you let Dak walk and save CeeDee and Micah, or would you rather let a wide receiver walk and try to refill him like a wide receiver or a pass rusher like Micah Parsons? They're so top heavy. They got some really good, but then behind them, I
They
think they
are.
don't have depth.
But I think what it is with Dak for them is uh the longevity he's been with them, like the length of his career. Shit, all his career has been with Dallas. I'm sorry. And I think that's probably taking a toll, like the relationship between the Cowboys. Like, you've been here for so long. We tried. You're still a
Oh,
great quarterback, but yeah,
Stephen Jones, Jerry Jones' son, who is the
right.
president of the Dallas Cowboys, he's reportedly been talking to reporters about how cheap it is to live in Texas. The cost of living is really low here, so you don't really even need 60 million. 59 million should be fine. I feel it sounded like he's trying to get a discount. He's like, Dak, you don't even need that many millions. What are you talking about, bro? Let us save some. Let us give you 48. He's like, what the fuck? Excuse me. I'm just Dak Prescott's brother is over here talking about like he's ready to walk. Like they're not showing the love, they're not showing the respect. Like let's just get out of here. Go to the Raiders. You think you'd rather have Dak Prescott over either of the guys you have right now? If you have to, you got to pay him $60 million though.
Man, that's a lot. I don't
How
know
much
if
is Minshew making? 12 a year,
maybe.
right?
I don't know if he's making.
I think he signed a
Maybe,
2-year,
I think
25
it's
million.
closer. I think it's closer to like 11, and then like if he hits all his incentives, then it's like 12 and a half. But
Next year,
no,
keep Gardner Minshew for 15 or sign Dak Prescott for 60. What do you think?
keep Minshew. That's a lot of money that could be
Yeah.
allocated towards other, like if you're already like kind of in rebuild or like even build like win now mode. That's crazy to have someone come over who really hasn't shown that he can win in the playoffs for 60 mil. Like
Uh,
who's also
yeah.
led the NFL in
I mean,
interceptions in numerous years.
look at the guys that got contracts this year. All the 2020 quarterbacks, Tua, Justin
But
Herbert, Joe
they're
Burrow,
younger.
Trevor
But they're
Lawrence,
younger.
even.
They haven't been in the league as long as that.
I know
You
you
know,
got Dak who's thrown like 4,900, 4,400 yards in 2021, 2023. He had the injuries in 2022, but he's been like almost 5,000 yards and 30 something touchdowns. Like you wouldn't take 5,000 yards and 30 touchdowns?
and how many interceptions?
Not a lot. Not as many as you think. Not as many as we see, right? I think he had like nine
Those are good
interceptions last
numbers,
year.
but at this point, you need more than those numbers to win a championship. I still don't think Dak has it. I think he has it.
Well, he's got it. He's got the numbers. You just don't think he can win. So we're
That's what
not
I mean.
willing to
Yeah,
pay
no, the
him.
numbers, like I said, those are great numbers. He has great numbers, but like you had a great team in Dallas, bro. The teams you had in Dallas, and you couldn't take your team to the Super Bowl. I'm sorry, stop it.
What are the teams he had in Dallas? Ezekiel
Yeah,
Elliott. He had the good line, right? Their O line was really good when he started.
he had two good running backs. He had Zeke. He had what was the backup that is gone now? What was his name?
Ezekiel Elliott's back.
Uh, he is back.
They got that short Deuce. I almost said Deuce McAllister. Who was not short.
who was who was a great running back.
Vaughn.
Deuce Vaughn. Who was the backup to Zeke before he left? Who ended up taking over?
Oh, Tony Pollard, the 1-2.
Pod. They had Pollard.
Yeah.
CeeDee Lamb. They had
Did he have Des Bryant, or was that more Tony Romo?
Tony Romo. The receiver in
It's my quarterback.
played for the Raiders. What's his name?
Terrell Owens,
No.
Jerry Rice,
Went to
Terrell,
Bama. He's with the Browns now.
Mari Cooper.
Yeah, they have Mari Cooper
Oh
there.
man, still really good.
There both lines have always been super good. You know, like you had a team to take like that was really good that could have made the NFL. I just feel like if you're going to be the quarterback, which is the most important position, we've always heard it, most important position on the field in the NFL. So, and that's your job, and it just doesn't look like this is me personally. So that's why I wouldn't if I was with the Raiders. I wouldn't.
Yeah. If you're listening to this and your team doesn't have like a starting caliber quarterback or like one of the top 12 elite ones, would you take Dak Prescott for a major contract? Is it worth it? Let us know. Training camp. Training camp started last week. It's been a new regime for some teams. It's been a comeback for others. Did you hear anything from Raiders camp? Oh
yeah.
Well, first off, the first thing we heard from Raiders camp happened on like day one. They took a Kermit the Frog themed Patrick Mahomes Muppet doll and had the players put it on. Was that from somebody in the crowd or was that from like the Raiders team? Do you know?
No, it's probably from someone in the crowd that came to practice, and those guys took it from them. And, I mean, look, things like that happen all over the training camps, I'm pretty sure. But because, of course, it involves Patrick Mahomes, and the Raiders are pretty controversial in the league, they're always going to go with it if it has to do with the Chiefs and the Raiders or anything to do with the Hunters. It wasn't
They're
that
like,
big of a deal.
I'm gonna get
Right,
sacked
like
12 times.
bro, how many teams in the NFL do you think make that same joke every time? You know, when they get on the field, and
No
their
other
name comes
teams
up.
post it.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And so that's me. That was my professional opinion talking, and me as a Raiders fan, man, fuck Patrick Mahomes, man, and fuck the Chiefs.
Well,
That's exactly what he sounds like. Come with it. We want all the smoke. Okay.
he saw it and people are like, yo, you see what the Raiders were posting about you? Patrick Mahomes said it'll get handled when it gets handled.
When it gets handled. Okay. The last image I know of the Chiefs and the Raiders is Jack Jones staring him down after he's running into the end zone. So, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying he's not going to come and destroy us. He's not. But, like, you know, if we're going by the last time they all saw each other, then of course the Raiders are going to talk shit. And they're going to talk shit anyway.
That's true.
So, yeah. I mean,
the Raiders play the Chiefs the week of Halloween, October 27th in Las Vegas. So we'll see. The Raiders definitely sent the Chiefs into a freaking get right spin at the end of last season after they whooped on them and kind of woke them up.
Or they just didn't follow the NFL script and decided to go ahead and beat the Chiefs, and everybody else powered down and decided to let the Chiefs win the championship.
Everyone else was just falling in line, bending the knee, but the Raiders were there.
What did Kendrick say? What did Kendrick say?
What is that? They not like us. They not like us. Sometimes you gotta pop out and show them.
I mean, that of course, yeah, that got highlighted for training camp, but at the AP presser, AP said it. He wanted to come into training camp. Bang, bang, bang. That's what he said. You know what I mean? That's what he wants.
Bang, bang, Raider gang.
Yep, he wants to see all the aggression. He wants everybody going at 100. You know what I mean? Right from the jump.
Oh, okay.
So that's what he was talking about at the pressure. People are always going to bring up the quarterback every time there's pressure, so he addressed that. He said both they're doing really great. Like, they had a really great offseason. Now that they're first day of training camp, they look great out there. But what he wants is one of them's got to step up. You can't be friends all the time. One of them's got to win the job. So he needs one of them to be a little bit more aggressive, in winning the job. Because obviously they're going to get along. They're going to spend a lot of time together. One's trying to learn things,
Teammates.
Yeah, exactly. But I think AP really wants them to be
Fighting.
like, he really wants them to battle. Like, one of them's got to come out on top. So
he said they're just chilling. I need you to push each other. I need you to fucking, one of you needs to want to win this job hard, and you guys are just chilling. Or maybe it's like just waiting for somebody to kind of establish themselves, or what's the word? Distinguish themselves. Rise above it. Yeah, let the cream rise to the top.
He just needs one of them to kind of just be different at practice. Show something different. He likes both of them. He said they've both been great, but one of them to win the battle, someone's actually going to have to, like you said, show out, look different from the other. He addressed the O line. O line's been a little banged up, battle tested, of course, but he thinks the O line is going to benefit from playing against probably one of the best D lines in the league at the moment. Every practice. So yeah, he likes that. Max Crosby, again, no surprise, has been dominating. First day of practice, like, they said DJ Glaze had to step in for who's playing tackle. Anyway, DJ Glaze is a rookie. Someone got hurt. They stepped out. DJ Glaze came in. Like they were saying, like all he was doing was like beating Glaze on every play, and then coming back and was like, "Hey, you see that? You see that? That's dope, huh? That's dope. Hey, check this next one out." Like telling him that he's gonna do this move, and they just can't stop him. So, yeah, he looks great again. They're actually pretty excited too about the defensive backfield, because all the talk of offseason for Raiders defense has been trying to get one more person to kind of boost the defensive backfield up. They were talking about Stephon Gilmore, who's still a free agent. Talking about Adoree Jackson, because he has ties to Patrick Graham, the defensive coordinator. So now that they're in training camp and people are seeing them on the field together, they're actually saying that they look really good. Like Jack Jones, of all people, has had probably the best off season for the DBs, and now that he's in training camp, they're kind of really impressed about it. So, and then as a Raiders fan, you got to take this with just a little bit of grain of salt, because all these reports are coming from Raider reporters, people who support the Raiders. So obviously they're going to look great, especially in training camp. I think what you take away from it, that is, they look great physically. So, and they've learned a lot of stuff over the offseason, and the coaches are just, they're impressed with them. So, first full day of pads, I think, was great. Colton Miller's still down, so he wasn't on the practice field. Like, he full pads.
Yeah.
Jackson Powers, the rookie that they're expecting a lot from in guard, he hasn't been in pads yet. He sat out. He was out most of the offseason when they had offseason workouts. So now that he's back on, they're expecting him to be out there. They said he looked good physically. He was out there, like, going through drills, but he wasn't in practice. But they expect him to be back soon. So I'm excited. As a Raiders fan, I'm super excited. Defense looks really great. That's been the main focus of the excitement. Sorry, of the excitement right now with coaching staff and all of that. And then the rookie tight end, of course, looking like a veteran out there. Just looks like he's going to be super amazing in tight end, which is Brock Bowers. If you guys don't know, the Raiders drafted that.
Do you know if he's doing like receiver too, or is he just hand on the line?
No, they have him out. So him and Michael Mayer, who's projected the starter, also having a great offseason and first day of training camp. Either one's going to be on the line or in the slot if they're going to play together. So they're
mix and match.
Yeah, but
Damn.
They've seen first day of practice. They've already seen Brock Bowers take a handoff and go like 60 yards up the field. So they're already making those plays.
Oh,
Yeah, that's going to be crazy to have this guy go in motion and come across the field, and you're like, "Fuck, we got to tackle that guy." Fuck, and he's super
jet
fast.
pass to the tight end, to the big ass
Yeah,
tight end in
yeah.
motion already with
So,
momentum. Okay,
and they could do
Raiders.
right. They could do like a double jet too, where he goes through, and instead of getting the ball, he's the blocker, and Tucker could follow, who's the speed burner on the team. Because we were able to sign. Can't compute, man. The head of probably should have been
Oh,
taken
come
after.
on.
What is the receiver's name from Dallas?
The
That
receiver's name from Dallas.
oh man, we just signed him.
Michael Gallup.
Michael Gallup. Sorry, Michael Gallup, wherever you are. Michael Michael Gallup was signed in the offseason, projected to be, to help because he's been a pretty good receiver in the league, with during his time in the league, of course. And then just about maybe a week and a half ago, he shows up on the retired list, and then it was confirmed. He put out a statement that he's retiring from the NFL. So all the touches he would have got, again, Trey Tucker, who's been showing flashes his rookie year, he'll now probably be getting those touches. So yeah, exciting, exciting.
Anything else before we talk Chargers training camp?
Yeah, Raiders are going to beat Chargers first game of the
So the
season.
Chargers have been in the Chargers training camp. They opened up like a new freaking, what do you call
Whole
it?
new stadium or facility.
Yeah, facility. The bowl where it's got practice fields and a bunch of stuff that they have. Player equipment, recovery, all that. They're going to be coming out of there. So training camp has been pretty good. I think Harbaugh's got the exact opposite of what your guys' coach, damn it, Antonio Pierce. So Antonio Pierce is like, show me, let's hit this real fast. Let's go right from the beginning. Bang, bang. Let's show me what you got. Harbaugh is actually instituted what he calls a glide program, where everything is like real slow, low impact, trying to focus on not getting injuries. Because he says his thing is at the beginning of training camp, the first couple of days, that first week, when if you're going full speed, is where you get those injuries that end up costing you like a player 3 months, 6 months, just like
right.
Kind of like a cold muscle snapping after trying to go fast too quickly.
Yeah.
So he's talking about, let's do it slow. We'll slowly kind of level up each week of training camp. They just got their pads, I think day 6 or 7. So
football pads, right?
Yeah, the football pads, not the mushroom, the skull cap. Yeah. So the Chargers are going a lot slower, and as a
that
team
makes
that
sense,
always has injuries and stuff, yeah,
right.
who's like freaking medical room, always dealing with something. That is absolutely fine with me. Just gear up by week 1 or throughout the preseason and be ready when we host the Raiders in week 1.
Mm.
Lad McConkey has been talked up. The Chargers 2nd round draft pick, wide receiver out of Georgia, teammate of the Raiders, Brock Bowers. That he's building a rapport with Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert. I saw a touchdown go off of Quentin Johnston's hands, like he like just dropped it, bounced off of his freaking fingers. But yeah, not too much going on, just like some of the highlights and clips. But like you said, that's it's just what you expect. Positive stuff from the team or their reporters, people that are involved.
Any
with
word
them.
on any word on who they think is going to be starting in the backfield behind Herbert?
I probably could look up the depth chart, but I haven't seen any story about anyone clearly coming away with it. I need to make sure freaking Joshua Kelly's even still on our team. I don't know.
Think he's on.
Kamani Vidal was a third or fourth round draft pick by the Chargers. I'm not sure what school he went to, but yeah. So there's a rookie. There's a bunch of old backups. Um, so like, but go. I mean, you got the new guys that came in: Gus Edwards,
I
J.K.
feel like
Dobbins,
Gus. Yeah, I feel like Gus is
Isaiah Spiller. Right. Okay. Right now, the depth chart is Gus Edwards at 1, 2 J.K. Dobbins, 3 Kamani Vidal, 4 Isaiah Spiller, who is supposed to be like Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but drafted a couple rounds later. Man, Clyde Edwards-Helaire is like now like the third running back in KC. He's
Well,
getting
they were
pushed
trying
down.
to trade him last year.
Oh, man, what a first round draft pick. That's crazy. At least you can do that when you're like at the
Which
back
is
end of the
like
first.
for me, it's crazy because I didn't really see that big of a drop off. What happened is they just stopped giving him the ball, you know, and then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, it's not doing great. We're probably gonna put him on the market. Wow. But also they had a running back who stepped up this year, rookie running back who came in and kind of just like ate up all the touches, and really was uh a big part of that championship run they had. So, I mean, I guess it's always the next best thing. You know what I mean? You got to stay hot. Or,
What
yeah,
have you done for me lately?
exactly.
Before we do an Olympic dump, any other league-wide training camp stuff? Some people getting injured or big contracts or anything that you think of?
I heard Titans already had a fight in their practice, and they don't
Oh,
mind it because that's just a bunch of, that's everybody sitting around for the past few months, or now they're getting into training camp. So it's just a lot, as coaches would say, just a lot of passion out there on the field. A lot of shit
yeah,
talking
yeah.
too. A lot of shit
Oh,
talking too.
you see Aaron Rodgers and Garrett Wilson kind of getting
I,
into an animated shouting
I,
match on the
yep,
sidelines. Do you think that's a
I saw
deal
that
or
too.
not a big deal?
Uh, I, man, only if Aaron Rodgers makes it a big deal. You know what I mean? Like, bro, you didn't even play one game last year. I know who you are. You're Aaron Rodgers. You didn't play one game last year. You come into training camp and you're over here like, bro, I've been playing. If I'm the receiver, that's what I would say. I'd be like, look, I've been here. Like, I've been playing. You coming in right now, you need to chill. Throw me the ball right.
Looks like Sua Opeta, offensive guard for the Buccaneers, suffered a torn ACL in practice. Damn.
So,
Man, prayers up to him. Hopefully, a good recovery. It's always ACLs are tough, especially in football, especially for a driving position like inside
it
lineman.
it's not like the death rate it used to, or
Right,
it's
right.
not like the death sentence it used to be. But also the same, like, yeah, if you get injured like that, you're never like 100%. But at least these days, you come back, you could be like at least like 80, 85. Back in the day, you were done.
Yeah.
Like you were collecting a retirement check once those injuries happened.
The Titans' Jeffrey Simmons was talking like loud at a radio host at Titans camp. Like, you
Bro,
guys always talk smack on social media. You better watch your mouth, stuff like that. He's taking back his statements and apologize, but you think that's a big deal or no?
I do because that's his second case of
Oh,
having to do with something like not the media but being aggressive towards like when he came into the league he was already in trouble at Mississippi State.
damn.
I forgot what it was for, but yeah, it was something in that effect, like a fight or something. But yeah, he was already like they took when Jeffrey Simmons had dropped, like he was being considered like the top defensive lineman that year, like the first 10 picks. And then when they came around right before the draft, he was getting in trouble. Some reports came out about what had happened while he was in school. He kind of dropped a little, and then the Titans took a flyer on him early, and it panned out for them because he's a monster on the interior of that team line.
I feel like
Like,
he's wrapping up though. Like, how long has he
you
been
think
there?
so?
10 years?
I don't, I don't know about wrapping up. I think like
Hmm.
for an interior D lineman, like he's like you see guys like Aaron Donald, totally different type of player. Like he's disruptive. in a way where he's trying to get into the backfield, like super athletic, like just he's doing things on that D line. You're like, wait, that's not a D lineman, that's a linebacker. But Jeffrey Simmons is one of those guys like he's still disruptive because he's so strong. Like when he rushes, bullies through the D line or the O line. He's also a great run stopper, fills holes and stuff like that. So he could still be super effective doing that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, and still just be a great defensive tackle going into the later parts of his career.
My bad to Simons and you. 6 year is what he's going on.
Oh, so yeah, I mean, it feels like 10, right?
I feel like he's been around a long time, but like early on was known that he was going to be like a difference maker is what I
Yeah,
thought.
yeah,
Like so early in his career, like he showed like, oh, he's going to be a real blue chipper. So maybe I've just heard the name for 5-6 years and think
yeah.
it's been longer. All right, Olympics. Jason Tatum didn't play in the first game. People made some memes. The United States men's basketball team wins their second group game versus South Sudan, 103-86. This time, a lot bigger margin of victory than their 1 point win in the pre-games.
Right.
How are you feeling about this men's team?
I like them, man. They're good.
Yeah.
They're probably one of the better teams to be put together. Like Steph is on a whole nother level right now. Man, he's playing ball right now. So like the Jason Tatum stuff is, I don't know. I don't think too much of it because sometimes who are you gonna sit? Like, you know what I mean? I know you could get him in for like try to push him into the rotation, but like if your teams are like if there's guys out there at his position that are really doing well, like what are you gonna do? You know what I mean? Um,
Looks like
yeah,
the
just
bench came alive for the US. Durant
in the side. Yeah,
14, Bam 18, Ant 13, Derek White 10 points, as well as 3 steals. Uh, but yeah, I mean, what do we got? Are we starting the knockout stage now? It's 2 group games, 2 or 3 group
yeah.
games, and then the
Two, two.
single elimination.
They're into single elimination now.
So I think they were a 700 point favorite. Do you think they're even more of a favorite now than they were at the beginning of the games?
I think they should be. And
Yeah, right.
even though South Sudan lost by that many, it was a pretty good game. I was watching the game earlier. It was a pretty good game. And South Sudan's got some dudes on their team that have played in the league. Like Manu and Gabriel plays for some shitty team right now in the league. They wear yellow and purple. I don't know. He was with the Trailblazers early. He was like a top 5 recruit coming out of high school. He went to Kentucky. Carlake Jones was the G League MVP in 2023. He's the one that sparked their game against USA, the prelim game that they had before the Olympics. They got a kid now too who signed to Duke. He's a 5 star. He'll be at Duke this season. Um, and then they got like a bunch of dudes just scattered over the team that play in the league. Another yeah, they're pretty good. Oh, JT Thor is also on their team. JT Thor, I think he's currently with Charlotte right now. But he went to Auburn. Gabriel is with the Lakers right now. Hopefully, Cardiac Jones can sign somewhere because, well, he's killing out there. And then Malucci, who signed with Duke, he's a 5 star center, so he should be pretty good. South Sudan, the youngest country in the world, team fully funded by President Lu Deng, a past NBA star, played for the Bulls most notably. Um, just reading about their coach too. Their coach played in the NBA for a little bit, so they're a pretty good team. And I say all this to say that the world is catching up with the U.S., but not by how great people think, because the U.S. is still just smacking people. Um, who's Puerto Rico looked like they were going to be surprised, but I think the size is what's hurting them in this tournament. Japan looked kind of good early, but France put that one in. France looks good. France looks
with Wemby and Gobert.
Yeah. Uh, Wemby's playing really good Olympics. Of course, Serbia, sure, they look pretty good out there. Germany's not. They got the Wagner brothers, Wagner. Sorry, they have the
Wagner.
Wagner brothers, and yeah, a lot of these teams, and not that to say that they have to have NFL caliber players on the team or guys who played in the league to be really good, but I mean, guys that are Americans are kind of familiar with. So that way they know how good their teams are. That's how we gauge that.
But you have America, the men's American team, being the best so far.
But MV,
Most
if MV
likely to win
starts,
that gold.
oh yeah, if they better. Man, a team that you can send MV to the bench and bring out Anthony Davis, and then you can send Durant to the bench
Yeah.
and bring up Jason Tatum, you know. And then like I know people have a lot of controversy with Derek White getting picked over Jaylen Brown, but you read out his stats and it said 3 steals. That seemed like that enough should be like, damn, that's his worth. He also put up 10 points, but if you watch the game, my man was like he was everywhere. He was
Yeah.
cutting passing
Yep.
lanes. That like he was tipping balls out. Like he got a few like they probably didn't count as his blocks, but he was also
Deflection.
just deflections. He was doing so much on the court. Like those are the kind of guys that you should bring with you. Like I love watching him and Holiday play defense at the top. Like some of these guys, like because European basketball players, like they're super aggressive, especially on defense. Like they don't give you no air. You can see it. Sometimes they're a little too aggressive. There's a lot of fouls being called on them before
The
like the
NBA guys are
inbound
like,
ball.
stop hitting me.
Right. You know what I mean? But to watch those two play defense right now, it's crazy. Holiday is having a really great Olympics, I think.
I like the men's chances. I think the women
Yeah.
also are going to get
Uh
gold again.
yeah, definitely. The women
Uh,
are it's different. The world quite hasn't quite kept caught up in the women's game.
yeah,
Australia just lost. They lost to was it China? China has gigantic people on their women's. Like I
nice.
was watching the games. I was like, bro, how
Like
tall is
if you get spotted as a 6'8" person, hey, you work for the freaking the Olympic team now. Get in there. That's gonna be
uh
exciting.
yeah,
The
because they man, it's so fun to watch. But again, like it's also cool to watch these teams like from other countries. Like remember we were talking before and in our chat and you were like, yeah, man, it's also cool to see all these little countries I never knew existed.
yeah, I
You
was
know?
like, what is it called? Like
That's what I
yeah,
so like
definitely
it's
different
fun. Like
names. I'm like, oh, okay, different places still happening, and definitely showed like my smallness as an
right,
American, and
right,
that's why
right,
I'm
right,
asking you because like I'm like all I'm seeing is what NBC shows us, right? And NBC is
right.
like, we saw this early this morning and recorded it. Now for the prime time, we're just going to give you the American wins. So I'm like, oh, there's so much stuff that we're missing, but obviously as Americans, we want to see the excellence,
Yeah,
the people
of
meddling and
course.
stuff.
That's
But
I
the
man.
for the Olympics, we got a little bit more time, just a little bit of time left before we do shout outs. What are some other stories? Can you run through any other things that have popped up or that you remember? I know Katie
Yeah,
Ledecky won by
yeah.
like a
Oh,
whole freaking lap
bro,
on the 1500
we
million or
we were
1500.
waiting. We were watching, and she touches the wall. They say she's celebrating, and we're like, is she swimming by herself? And then you see, you know what I mean?
Everyone else is like, wait.
Yeah, yeah, which is cool to see because, and then let's not get it twisted, America. We gonna tell the bad too. She got smoked in her other
Oh
races,
yeah.
like by the Australian girl.
Mhm.
And like we said again, we've seen the memes. We also said in the chat, like when it comes to swimming, it's almost like the world versus Australia. Anybody but Australia.
Anybody but Australia. Mortal enemies, the green
Right.
and yellow. Isn't your
But
flag
Ledecky,
red, white, and blue?
right? You just want us to think you're Brazil, so we'll cheer for you.
What other Olympic standouts have been happening for you?
The U.S. men's Olympic team won their first medal in over 16 years.
U.S. men's
Olympic gymnastics.
Oh, okay, yep, gymnastics.
Yeah,
Congrats to them.
Yeah, so they won on an incredible. If you guys don't know what a pommel horse is, I can't explain it to you. You're gonna have to watch the Olympics.
Swipe out of this and Google it.
Right. But they won on an amazing performance by the guy who does pommel horse for them. That's his only event, and he
And
wasn't.
that's the
He
one
got
that won
passed
it.
up. Right. He got passed up in like two of the rotations, so he had sat. But at that moment, they look back and be like, "Oh shit, we want to win." Yo, come on, man. You know what I mean? He
Horsey.
came out right. He on his dismount, as he's dismounting, you can see in his face before he hits the ground that he's like, "Oh, I locked it up. We won." And as he sticks the landing, he's just like, "Fuck yeah!" Which is pretty cool to see, man. Because like that's a lot. I remember watching the Olympics as a kid. Like women's gymnastics for sure. We were always like at least one, two, or three, but men's was always like they had a harder time because you had to face the Russians, the Japanese, and the Chinese, who always had like superior
pulling off crazy
gymnasts.
stunts,
Right?
moves. Yeah,
It's I guess, and then in the last 16 years, I guess like America was just not part of like the top five people like
wow,
in world competitions in men's, and now they can go home
nice.
with bronze medals. And for people who's like, oh, too bad they didn't win the gold or silver. You know how hard
Bruh.
it is to
Yeah,
win the
exactly.
bronze? Like it's not like we're just talking with my Brody. Like it's not like you're in a competition in your area, like your
Yeah,
city,
yeah.
or
Not
even in
third
just your
best
state.
on your block. It's
Right
third best on all the blocks in the
in the
world.
world. So shout out to them. And then the
Yeah, nice.
women's. I know there was a former
Yeah,
women's
what was that
gymnast.
about? Oh, okay. Yeah, let's talk
She
about
was
what
just
was
saying,
that?
right. She had commented before the Olympics, like she was. I guess she was watching prelims because they didn't do too great in the prelims. I guess people were saying they kind of just like snuck
Save it.
into the Olympics. And so she was like, besides Simone Biles, everybody else doesn't look like they're gonna win. Like they're not. They shouldn't
Called
be at
them
the
lazy.
Olympics. Those
Work
are
ethic.
Simone Biles. She was talking about their work and stuff like that. She didn't use exactly those words, but Simone Biles, after they won their gold medal, she came out and she was like, she made the statement of lazy,
Lack of talent, lazy
lack
Olympic
of talent,
champions.
champions. And so I'm pretty sure the other girl felt type of way because she was trying to save face by saying Simone Biles was the only one on the team worthy to be there. But like that's a teammate. She's not gonna sit back and be like, let somebody diss her whole team, even though she didn't get this. Like uh Simone Biles put that out. The former teammate who was saying those statements ended up blocking her on social media
Oh
after
yeah,
she
yeah,
put
yeah.
that out. Yeah,
The
so
quote that Skinner said was, "Besides Simone, I feel like the talent and the depth just isn't what it used to be." Just notice, like, I mean, obviously, a lot of the girls don't work as hard. The girls just don't have the work ethic.
yeah, so
Okay, all right,
like,
golden
I,
work ethic.
yeah, hey man, the little Asian girl that's on the gymnastics team, bro, she's amazing. She's dope.
Sunni.
Yeah, she's dope. And then you watch Simone Biles, and Simone Biles is out there on the bum ankle. She hurt her ankle
Yeah,
like the first day of competition.
I
So
think she was
I
coming in
mean,
hurt. Like her mom gave a interview at the opening
okay,
ceremony that she's not here. She's got to rest up. She's got a big competition coming up. So,
yeah,
but
so yeah.
lots more. We got what? You got 2 more weeks of Olympics? No, 10 more days or something like that.
Oh
Another
man,
week and a half.
And another story
Track and
is a
field
lot
coming up.
of track. That's besides gymnastics. I think track and field is probably the most watched. I want to say
Yeah,
out of the so. Uh, man, Shakari Richards for the gold. That's I know
let's
that's
get
what
it.
everybody's watching. But another like a story close to us since we're probably is there's a lot of people a lot of athletes and staff there that the villages have been filming early morning prayers that the uh I guess what did they call it? Oh, the Oceania groups is how the European people were calling. And for us, that equates to us here in Polynesia, Melanesia, and Micronesia. They have videos of Fiji doing prayer in the morning, beautiful singing. The whole village comes out to listen to on their balcony in the mornings. Some of them join the prayers. They've had the delegation from Samoa. Shout out to them. They had a coach and a representative go with them, older man. I apologize, I can't remember your name, but
Yeah,
he had passed away the first night after the game. So shout out to them, condolences. But also, Samoa team has been holding prayer, and I'm pretty sure if the delegation from Samoa is doing prayer, the delegation from American Samoa has joined them because we are both sister countries. We're family. People have come out to listen to them, and it's Tonga. Just beautiful. That's beautiful to see that we're being represented out there, and people love to see stuff like that. So yeah, another big Olympic thing for us. Pretty cool.
that's dope. That's also part of it, right? Sharing different parts of the
Yeah.
world in like
Oh
when we
man.
all come together. But it's like it's always nice when people kind of see that. That's one. I mean, that's one of my like most heartwarming parts of being Pacific Islander is those like
Yep.
communal unison songs, like hearing everyone sing together.
Lots of
Like
beautiful.
even if they're not good singers, like it sounds really good. But
So communicable disease.
the what?
I thought you were gonna say that we have a communicable disease amongst
Oh
us all,
no.
but
No, you might
it's
start
called
seeing
gout.
Oceania. Oh, hey, don't go to the Olympics with gout. Oh, damn, that sucks. Oh, here's the handoff. Wait a minute. He's in a wheelchair. His foot's out. Uh,
Oh,
yeah, we'll have even more Olympics next time. Make sure to tap back in. Any shout outs before we go?
man, shout out to you, man. I missed yesterday's episode. I had some things to do. So yeah, shout out to you for
Oh,
holding it down.
gee.
Oh, Lance is a professional to say the least. Always, always, always. And he not just covers us here at the Ballinesian. He's over at the Polyticket Network
Hey,
with
yep.
our brothers, Oh Hello Marcus and Sepha. So man, oh man, shout out to Sepha who did a show in Alaska this past weekend.
Yeah.
From all the pictures and videos Sepha posted, I seen went pretty well. Looks lit, and it's good to see Seth out there on the stage again, man. Seth, we're gonna have to get you to one of these festivals next time around. November, I'm hearing there's a ton of festivals in November, Seth, and we get help, man. Marcus, yeah, we need you up there too. Even though Seth will be doing his impression of your song on the Politicking podcast, but
Yeah,
yeah, no,
definitely watch. You can check out Cepha M's Instagram
definitely
for some of the stuff that he's going to
highlights.
post. You can
Yeah,
also listen to the Polyticket podcast. This week's
yes.
episode, they're talking about it. And then follow the Patreon for probably even more breakdown this week of his performance and new plans.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely shout out to the network. Watch them on YouTube. Follow us and Polyticket Network on YouTube, on the socials. Yeah, and also Levasa Island Apparel. It's almost sweater weather. So definitely look in and how you can, put on for the culture, rep your set or your rock with some of the clothing that they have online or on the Instagram at le_vasa. That is our show for this week. Thank you very much for listening in. Definitely hit us up if you have any questions, comments, concerns, any topics you want us to cover, anything important you think we should be looking out for. Definitely love to hear from you guys. But that's our show for this week. Again, thanks. Stay hydrated, stay blessed, stay ballin'. Love and light. Peace. Where's the button? There it is.